Test. Hey everybody. Hey everybody. Hey everybody. Hey everybody. What's up? Welcome back to Touch and Glass Podcast with me, your host. That's again the one and only one that you're ever getting. Episode 15. I've been out of sorts just because we had Christmas and we had New Year's, and then I was home for a bit, and I've still tried to do them, but they've been getting a little far apart. Right now I'm going to do another mock draft. Again, it's just the middle of the season for the NHL. Boston's on a 5-game losing streak. The Leafs are on a 4-game losing streak, I think. And it's going to be very funny to me if they don't make the playoffs after giving all of this money away to the four amazing players. But let's just hop into this right now. So we'll see what happens with the NHL, but we'll definitely see what happens with the NFL soon enough. So I'm going to actually draft the way that I would draft these picks. The Bears, Justin Fields is terrible, and I think they want to take a safe pick here. Could be Derek May, could be Caleb Williams, could be Jaden Daniels, but I'm just going to take the obvious choice here and go Caleb Williams. The Washington Commanders, I have no idea who the quarterback is. Off the top of my head, people say they don't want to take a quarterback, but I honestly think they're going to take a quarterback. And I've been seeing a lot of drafts go with Daniels being the better quarterback, so I'm just going to blatantly go off of that. And the Patriots, they kind of have the option between Daniels or May, and a lot of people don't like May, but there's not really a lot of quarterbacks like this high, so there is a chance they could take Marvin Harris, but you got to fix the quarterback issue first. Look at Calvin Johnson. He did great, but he didn't win anything because he was on Detroit and they didn't have a quarterback. So I'm just going to again make the safe pick. The Cardinals, with Marvin Harris available, they're 1,000% going to take Marvin Harris because, well, honestly, they do actually need a quarterback because they've been so high on what's his name, Kyler Murray. But I was gonna say I think they would go OT here, but I don't think they would let Marvin Harris drop. They would give another weapon to Kyler Murray. They do, I feel, definitely need O-line help. But it does say quarterback here that they do need quarterback help. But again, there's not really a lot of high quarterbacks right now. Like, they're not going to go off the board at fourth pick overall. I think, again, they're just going to be safe. The safest would be O-lineman. But the issue with drafting O-lineman is Joe Alt, he's 6'8". He will be towering over Kyler Murray. But I'm just going to be quick about this, and I'm just going to take Marvin Harris. The Chargers, now they're 1,000% going to take Joe Alt, just to show up Justin Herbert, because the Chargers are right there. They just can't seem to do anything. Now, this one's an interesting one. It doesn't say they need quarterback. I personally think they do, but again, they're not going to pick a quarterback this late in the draft. They may take Daniel Jones. They may take OT. They may take tight end. I don't remember who the tight end is off the top of my head. They could take Malik Neighbors. I personally think they're just going to, again, go with a safe pick and take O-lineman. I don't think they have another pick this draft, but I'm just going to take O-lineman. The Titans will actually probably be taking a wide receiver or tight end. Now, the last tight end that was picked this high hasn't worked out, but you can't blame that on him. I would blame that on I think the Panthers he's on, or the Raiders. I forget his name now, but it's kind of a toss-up. I mean, Georgia has been an amazing team, and tight ends are kind of a rarity, so I think they're going to go tight end here. The Falcons, off the top of my head, don't remember who the wide receivers are, don't remember who the cornerbacks are. I'm gonna just go with wide receiver off the top of my head. Now the Bears have another pick. They just took a quarterback, and I think they're gonna then go defense here and take the best. They could take the best cornerback because it is kind of all about cornerbacks. They need both edge and cornerback. And it's kind of a good cornerback draft, so they could wait until the second round to pick one. So I'm just going to take Dallas Turner here as edge, I believe. I mean, there is Kool-Aid McKinstry from Alabama, but you haven't really heard much from him. And then there's Arnold again from Alabama, but you haven't really heard much. I'm going to just take Dallas Turner just to show up this really help their defense. Now the Jets, I off the top of my head I don't remember. I guess they don't need a quarterback, because they're happy with what they have. But I mean, it's always defense is always good. They could go wide receiver here, but I really don't think they would. I think it actually says they do need wide receiver, so maybe they'll take a wide receiver just to help Aaron Rodgers out if he comes back, and just to help out whoever the quarterback is. They definitely need a quarterback, but I mean, at this stage in the draft, there's not really a lot of quarterbacks to take. And they have a top 10 pick. They're not going to waste it. I think they're just going to take the best available wide receiver. The Titans, they could go cornerback. They could also go quarterback, because they do have Justin Jefferson, and they'd rather not waste Justin Jefferson. But again, the first quarterback is at 28th, and they're at 10th. I highly doubt they could trade down. Again, I should have done some trades, but I kind of only have a limited time right now. I was a little quick last time, but maybe they would trade down. Let's just assume. I can't really assume that. It's too hard to do a trade. I'm just going to assume they would trade down at this stage, because I don't know if they would really take anybody available right here. But I'm just going to take the best available cornerback, because it does say cornerback, but they do definitely need quarterback for Justin Jefferson. So they may trade him, or they may trade down. The Broncos, they're kind of a not sure team right now, so I feel like they would definitely take. They kind of need everything across the board. They need edge, they need quarterback, they need OG, they need CB, they need DT. I'm just going to go right off, and DTs don't really change the game. Cornerbacks do, but I'm going to take the ULC edge, because guys off the edge always help. Now the Raiders, they could potentially take, it does say a quarterback, and off the top of my head I don't remember who the quarterback is. So there is a high chance they do actually take a quarterback here. I don't know if they would trade down, because there's a lot of teams later. Well, they also might trade down, because now thinking about it, there's a lot of teams that might not need a quarterback, like the Bengals, the Jaguars, the Rams, the Seahawks, and honestly, there's a stretch here that quarterback might go off the table. I don't remember who. They could take a cornerback. They could take an OT. Honestly, maybe they would actually take an OT here, because they just want to really shore up that just to be a safe pick. You know what? They don't want to go off the board. Now the Saints have always been that team to kind of take a guy that maybe a lot of people aren't really looking at. They actually do need DT. Then I don't think they're going to trade off the board. So I'm just going to take the best available DT for them. The Colts, they need edge, running back, cornerback, OG, and OT. I'm just gonna take. I feel like they probably would wait to see if Kool-Aid McKinstry does get taken. So I'm just gonna take him now. And then we have the Saints. They need tight end, S, LB, cornerback, and OG. There was one actually S right here. Kamren Kitchens. Yeah, that's an interesting way to spell that. They don't need edge. They do need cornerback, but I don't know. I haven't really heard much of these two guys, so I actually think they're going to take the only available S that's right now. The Jaguars definitely don't need a quarterback. They could use a cornerback. They could also use offensive guard just to protect Trevor Lawrence, really give him, or they could take a wide receiver. It doesn't say they do, but you know what? I'm just going to take a safe pick and take an O-lineman. Now the Bengals had a terrible year this year, and I don't really know why. Well, it honestly could be because they don't have any more weapons for Joe Burrow, but I personally think they're gonna take cornerback here just to really re-up that that defense. So I'm gonna actually go with the Clemson, because I know Clemson is a better team than Iowa as far as I'm aware. The Rams, they were just in the playoffs, so they actually have a decently high pick for where they are right now. They could just take a safe pick, an edge, or an OG, or a CB, or an OC, but I kind of weirdly think they're gonna take wide receiver for some reason, just to really help them out. And seeing Keon Coleman drop, I think they're gonna take him. It doesn't say they need wide receiver, because I know they have Puka, and I know they have that other wide receiver and that running back, but Cooper Kupp, I don't know if he's really kind of working out, or I don't know if he's going to continue to work out. He's kind of getting older too, so might as well draft a guy for his replacement, somebody that you don't need right now, somebody that can kind of go into the future. Now the Steelers do need quarterback, OC, OT, and edge. I don't know if this is organized from like most to least. I actually think that I would say edge, but I actually think they're gonna take an O-lineman here, because they're just wanting to protect their new quarterback. They could give him wide receiver, but I think they're just wanting to protect him. And I'm gonna actually take this guy because I've seen his name being floated around a bit. Now the Dolphins, they might just take OT because they definitely don't want another situation of what happened to him last year, a couple years ago, where he's gotten now 2, maybe 3 concussions, and playing in the snow, it gave him less time because he's cold and he wants more time to kind of figure things out. So I think again they're just going to be safe about this and take OT. Now the Eagles, I'm actually rushing through this more than I thought. Now the Eagles, they just could not friggin' catch they could catch a ball. They couldn't make a goddamn tackle. So I think I'm just going to take Jared Verse. Might as well, if you can't make a tackle on the cornerback, you might as well try and sack the quarterback. Because you're playing against top teams that have quarterbacks who run. So I'm just going to take the best available edge for them. Now the Texans are actually in a playoff spot, and I think they're going to take wide receiver. It does say edge, it does say OG, S, and OT, but there's not a lot of OT right here. And I kind of doubt, sorry about that, I kind of doubt they're just going to pick off the board. Holy. Sorry. So I think I'm just going to give them a wide receiver. I don't know who Brian Thompson is, but for some reason this name kind of sticks out to me, so I'm going to take him. Now the Dallas Cowboys do need a CB and a DT. They don't need an edge, but they do need an LB, so I've actually seen this guy's name, so I'm going to take him. The Packers, I think the issue was OT, and I think, but there's not a lot of OT. Actually, there is one guy right here. They do need a quarterback, but what's his name is actually doing quite good for them, so they're not going to take a quarterback. You know what, I'm just going to be safe, and they're going to try and protect the quarterback. Where'd that guy go? And they're taking an OT. Now the Buccaneers, they could re-sign, what's his name, but I personally think they're going to draft a quarterback because they've only signed him to a 1 year. Either you have to pay him a bunch of money, or you have to hope that he's going to play amazing next year. And one of two things is going to happen. Actually, one of three. You don't draft a quarterback, and he plays the same he did last year because he finally has the team, or you do pay him and he plays much worse, and then you're just screwed. Now you don't have an option for the future. Or you draft a quarterback, and hopefully it creates one of two branches. It creates a QB battle, or it creates him wanting a trade or wanting to leave the team, and you just simply trade him. He is on a 1-year contract, so they could potentially go for quarterback here. And I think they're actually going to go for Michigan's winning quarterback. Now, the Cardinals definitely don't need a quarterback, but again, I would feel like they do. They actually picked earlier, I thought. Yeah, they picked Marvin Harris. So I don't think they need a wide receiver here. I'm gonna try and show up the cornerbacks because I don't off the top of my head I don't remember who's on the cornerbacks. And I'm gonna take the Georgia guy just again because Georgia is a really good team. Now the Bills, I mean, probably a kicker. Sorry, Rob. He's a huge Bills fan. I mean, I can't complain. I'm a Patriots fan, so my team didn't even make the playoffs at all. There was a great game between them, and maybe they could just take the best available. Honestly, the thing that they were doing well was their edge. Was their they had great defense on cornerback, but they stopped rushing Mahomes, and they kind of let him in. So I think because they play Mahomes a lot, I think they're going to take edge and try and get in his head. And speaking of Mahomes, again, they played great, and again a nice counterbalance to not getting so many sacks. It does say wide receiver, so maybe they could take a wide receiver. But Mahomes has been kind of creating, so I could take Brian Thompson here. I could also take Graham Burton here. There's a lot of wide receivers, and I think they'll wait. I think they're going to take an OG here. Now we have the Lions and the 49ers next. The Lions, off the top of my head, I don't remember who the it's a Goff. So I actually think they're definitely going to take a quarterback here. A lot of people aren't liking Michael Penix Jr. It does say quarterback twice, which is really funny, because they do kind of definitely need a quarterback, but they are playing very good. Like, their defense is playing very good. They could take a wide receiver here, but again, why waste a pick on a wide receiver when it may not work in your favor, and then you've just wasted a season of the guy to then draft a quarterback next year? But they are in a win-now mode, but that doesn't mean they can't not draft a quarterback and have him work under Jared Goff, who has a Super Bowl, and who's turning the Detroit Lions into a top 4 final team to potentially get back to the Super Bowl. So I think they're going to actually take a quarterback here, and a lot of people don't like this guy. I've been seeing Oregon is a good team. I'm just going to see if there's any other quarterbacks. I guess I could change that to there and see. There's Spencer Rattler. I actually fully thought Spencer Rattler... Wasn't Spencer Rattler, or am I thinking of another guy? Wasn't he picked... wasn't he supposed to be like the first overall pick like 4 years ago? And then he got picked by another team? Unless what happened was they picked him later, and then he decided not to play for them, so he went back to school, and now he's even going to be picked later. I think that's what happened. But I think I got plenty of time, but I rushed through this again. But I personally think they're going to take a quarterback here, because they could take wide receiver. There is a couple wide receivers still available, but it is such a deep wide receiver class, and they definitely need a quarterback. So why not take? I mean, I don't know who the quarterbacks are next year, but you have a Super Bowl winning quarterback now. Why not have him teach the young quarterback the how to win, how to take over this team, so that the new quarterback can hit the ground running and not just be like, okay, well, what do I do? Like, let me read the playbook for about a year and then get back to you, and then they've just wasted all other players' careers. So I'm just going to take Bo Nix here because I've been hearing a lot about him. Now, the 49ers are very interesting. They do have a very good team. They have great defense. They have good offense. Doesn't say they need a wide receiver because I actually don't think they need a wide receiver. I honestly think they're just going to go with... They could... I was going to say they could take an O-lineman here just to kind of re-up that protection. But I think just a really solid, just to make the defense just solid. I think they're just going to take this guy, seeing him drop, they're going to take him. Oh, the Baltimore. I don't know why it doesn't show Baltimore at the bottom here. Now, Baltimore, off the top of my head, I actually don't know who the wide receivers are. They do need DT, and I, for some reason, have been hearing a lot about this guy. But again, I think they're going to take wide receiver, just seeing this guy kind of fall off the board a little. They could take OT, but I mean, this is kind of a deep WR class, because there's at least 5 available WR. But LSU, I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I think they're just going to re-show up on their defense. So the Cardinals, I actually think they would trade... Sorry, they would stay put. They would stay put. They at 32. There's not really much they can do. The Bills, I don't know if they have picks to move up in the draft, but there's a chance. Oh yeah, the Panthers didn't have a first. The Bears. So there's speculation the Bears might trade the first overall pick, but I personally think this is what they should do. I would do this if I was the Bears. What's his name? Justin Fields has not been the quarterback of the future. He hasn't even been the quarterback of now. Like, there's so many quarterbacks now that are way better than him. And I don't know why the Bears are holding on to him. I don't know what they're holding on to him for. They 1000% need to trade him, or just need to let him go and draft the generational quarterback. Look what it did for the Jaguars. He hasn't turned out amazing, but, like, they're still a top team. They did miss the playoffs, but they are still, like, a top... Not a top contending, but they are still a top team. The Bengals, they're kind of in that middle position. I would assume they're just going to kind of go with the safe pick, either to shore up the defense or to shore up the offense with, like, an OT or a wide receiver. I don't know if they're going to do anything crazy, because... they were right there, and they just had an off season. So I think they're gonna get back. The Browns actually didn't have a first round pick, and I did not know that. I don't know who has the first round pick. The Stars, again, I don't know if they have a lot of assets to move up. But they had a great playoff season this season, so hopefully that can help them next year. The Broncos may be a team, off the top of my head, I don't know who the quarterback is, so they may be a team to trade down, or they may be a team to trade up and just give a bunch of assets. I probably should have taken a quarterback for them, but they might try and give a bunch of assets to the Bears for the first overall pick, and if they can get that, then I think they're golden. They have good defense, they have good wide receivers, they have good... cornerbacks, I think, but yeah. And then the Detroit. I honestly think this is what they do. This is what I would do if I was Detroit. You're here as a team. You obviously can get better, and I get you're trying to win now, but you don't have a quarterback for the future. You don't even have a quarterback for next year. Actually, I forget his contract, so you may have a quarterback for next year. But I think they're going to take a quarterback, have him play and learn under a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and then have him take over the team. And like I said, take over the team with him already going, like with him already understanding everything, rather than wasting a year of Hutchinson and wasting a year of your defense and wasting a year of your young offense. Like they have a young team, they just don't have a young quarterback. That was their issue in the past. The Packers, I don't know why it only shows like 7 teams here, but the Packers they played a great game. And I think they just want to give some more protection to Jordan Love. They want to love. They could also go with defense just to really help show up that defense, because as far as I'm aware, they may actually change this pick. As far as I'm aware, I don't know if Jordan Love was sacked a lot for them to take an O-lineman at this pick. They may take a cornerback. They may take an edge to really drive that defense to help Jordan Love, which is probably what they might do. There it is. Who did now I forgot. The Texans. Yeah, the Texans, again, they're kind of in a weird spot. They're low on this draft order, and they did have a good playoff, so they may just take a wide receiver. They probably could have taken a quarterback. Oh, sorry, they have C.J. Stroud. What am I talking about? They might take an O-lineman. I don't remember if he was getting sacked a lot, but I think they're just going to take a very safe pick here. And then with the Patriots, actually, I'll just go down this list. I already talked the Bears. So the Commanders are kind of in a very good position right now. They're going to get one of the top 3 quarterbacks, unless they really like Caleb Williams, or honestly, being in a top 4 pick with these top 4 players, they're in a solid spot. Like, even the Patriots are in a solid spot. They're either getting Harris, May, Daniels, or Williams. There is a small chance to get Williams, but we'll see. I think this is the most likely outcome. I think the Bears will come to their senses and draft a quarterback, and then the Commanders realizing, well, Williams is gone, we're just going to take the second best quarterback, Daniels. The Patriots, well, the second best quarterback was gone, we're just going to take the third best quarterback. I mean, I've seen a lot of back and forth, and I might get a little shit for having Washington take Daniels at 2, but he's going to go in the top 5. I honestly believe. And then the Cardinals thinking, wow, we just had gold fall in our lap. Again, they should probably take a quarterback, but at their position, there's not going to be a quarterback for them to take unless they want to trade way down for a potentially worse quarterback, when technically they do have a quarterback. So just take Marvin Harris and help Kyler Murray. Now, I think this is going to be a perfect pick for the Cardinals. Joe Alt is 6'8", and I think he's going to be a perfect protection for Justin Herbert in the backfield. Justin Herbert just got injured the last 2 seasons and had a season-ending injury. So I think that's going to be as safe as any pick as you possibly can be. And the same thing with the Giants. Just an all-right safe pick, but they want to really protect Daniels because they gave him a bunch of money. Now, Brock Bowers at the Titans, again, I think is another perfect pick because they have the wide receiver, they have the quarterback, now they just need that all-star tight end, and I think that's the most likely option. I'm kind of running out of time here, but I got a couple of minutes. I think that's just another kind of safe pick. They're just kind of reshoring up the defense. They're just helping out whoever the quarterback is when they come back, so they can hit the ground running. They may change this pick. Oh yeah, one of these teams is probably going to trade up, and I forget which one. I think the Jets or the Falcons might trade up for a quarterback. Well, maybe not. That's the interesting thing. Holy, teams inside the top 11, besides the top 3, don't need a quarterback. The teams outside of the top 12 do actually need a quarterback. So there's a lot of teams here that could easily try and trade up for number 1, and then that throws the whole draft off the board, because then they've come up and picked, and then And I mean, it could maybe not change the whole draft board, but again, the Vikings with the defensive pick here, I think that just to shore up their defense, just to really help drive their defense and just help it. The Broncos, again, are kind of a middle teams, not really sure what they want to do, but it's always good to draft an edge. Like, look at the Lions. They drafted Hutchinson, and he caused like 3 to 4 sacks and won them the game. So I think that might help them. I don't know who the quarterback is, but they're a little too high in the draft to trade to pick a quarterback, so they may trade down. Whoever the quarterback of the Raiders are, they just want to protect him, just straight and simple. The Saints, again, the same thing as the Broncos. They just want to show up the defense. Same thing with the Colts. They just want to show up the defense. Same thing with the Seahawks. They just want to show up the defense. They want to protect the Jaguars. Want to protect the quarterback. The Bengals probably want to get defense. They could go wide receiver here. They could also go OT here just to protect Joe Burrow. They could do a lot of things at 18. They're kind of a little bit of a wild card because they missed the playoffs. The Rams probably actually wouldn't go wide receiver here now that I'm thinking about it. But you never know. Like I said before, Cooper Kupp is kind of getting a little older. Kind of running out of time. Just safe pick, just to really help the defense. Just a safe pick, really help the defense, just to help Love. They definitely need a quarterback, so this is a smart choice for them. And I think he will be available to them unless they want to trade up or they trade down. But I think that's, again, my third perfect pick. Again, just they want to shore up the defense. They want to counterbalance the Chiefs. They want to counterbalance the Bills. They need a quarterback. They just want to show up some sort of weakness on that team. I don't know what the weakness is. I personally think the 49ers might win. I do want it to be the Lions, but I think it's the 49ers. Again, they just want to really build that defense. But yeah, that's my mock draft for right now. We're still in the playoffs right now, so this could all easily change. A guy could have I don't know. I guess it's now kind of just the waiting game. Like maybe somebody finds out something, or I don't know, somebody new kind of things always happen. That one guy, I remember there was a video that leaked of him smoking a bong through a mask, but it wasn't actually. It either wasn't him or it was him, and then he dropped and somebody picked him, and then he didn't really turn out that great, and then they traded him, and then he turned out to be amazing. So it's just all kind of up in the air. But I think my 3 perfect picks are the Buccaneers drafting a quarterback, and I think it should be JJ. The Titans drafting Brock Bowers, because they're kind of in that position. They should probably take a quarterback, but they're just right on the outside to not be able to draft a quarterback. They could also go with OT just to really protect their new quarterback, because Malik Willis, he's okay. Like he's actually good. Like he's getting better. So maybe they would want to give him another weapon on the field, or they would want to just protect him. But I still think Brock Bowers is probably their safest pick. And then the third team, I forget who it was. Just drawing on blanks. Oh, Joe Alt for the Chargers. That 1,000%. They just lost him to a season-ending injury. They 1,000% are probably going to take OT. If they don't take OT here, that's just going to screw them up for the future. But for now, you're awesome. Stay awesome. And rock on. Peace.